It's Dance Party Thursday. I'm a little bit late today, but we are still doing our dance party. Today is Obliterating Obstacles. So let's start with loosen up a little bit. Have a little fun. Lean into this music. It's Thursday. It's almost the end of the week. Today we are talking about this bad boy. Yeah, let's turn the music off. It's a good vibe. All right. Oh, there we go. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Oh my gosh, I got all sorts of things popping up all over the place. All right. So last week we didn't draw from the bin because I had multiple people ask me. There was just a consistent theme in what I was hearing from people. Last week we talked about I'm overwhelmed. And what do I do about being overwhelmed? And I told you the other thing that we were going to talk about is this guy right here. Okay. Being an entrepreneur is hard. It is so hard. And sometimes I wonder if I should just quit and go and get a job. So rather than draw random, I'm like, enough people are asking me this. And so there's a theme, and that's when you're meant to be talking about it. So today we're going to talk about this. We're going to have some real conversations here today. Is being an entrepreneur hard? Yes. It's excruciatingly hard sometimes. There's so many things that are hard about it. So I would love to know from those of you that are on, what makes being an entrepreneur hard for you? Share some comments. Let's talk about real things. What makes being an entrepreneur hard? I'll share some things from my perspective. Okay. Number one, you're alone. It's just you, right? There's no team. There's no boss. It's just all on you, right? And you got to wear multiple hats. You're not only the marketer, you're the salesperson, you're the operations person, you're HR, you're wearing all the hats. And then not to mention all of the hats that you wear in your personal life, right? Wife, mother, sister, daughter, friend, whatever else it is. And I think so often, and it probably started with the pandemic, people were moving into having online businesses and everybody was like, it's so great, make $1 million. And everybody just jumped on. And I don't think enough people, and I think this is still the case today, I don't think we talk enough about that it's hard. It is hard. So if you're feeling like this is hard, you're not alone. You are not alone. Okay. Okay. Laurel says there's no regular paycheck. Oh, amen. You got that right. Yeah. I once said this was a while ago, but somebody had given me some advice and said, you got to trust the universe. And I said, is the universe sending me a paycheck? Because I don't think so. Right. I now know better, but at the time, that's where my head was. Okay. Laurel also says marketing. Oh yeah. Marketing. It's hard. And yep, you agree. We do not talk about it enough. Tech. Don't get me started on tech, Sarah. We can do a whole session on tech. Okay. But we all need a little dose of reality here, right? It is not easy. And some days are worse than others, right? Some days it's super hard. Some days it's not as hard, but there's always a hard element in there. Okay. So what I want to say, or what I want to share with you today, is that one of the ways that you can help yourself is to get really crystal clear on your whys. Okay. So why did I want to do this in the first place? So I would love some comments. Why did you want to be an entrepreneur in the first place? Why did you decide I want my own business? I want to do this thing. There has to be a reason why you started. Okay. So make sure that you're clear, not only on the why, but why were you called to share and to show up in this way? So many of you are coaches and healers and online business professionals. And so you have an area of expertise. And I know for many of you, it's about sharing that expertise, and it's about helping others. And that it's just a calling that you have to share all of this. Okay. So I think in those times where I'm feeling like, oh, this is so hard, If I stop and I think, why am I doing this? That helps. So I'm gonna give you an analogy, okay? So when you are faced in that situation where something is hard, you have a choice. Okay, you are at a fork in the road. One option is to say, I'm gonna just close up shop, fold it all down, not do it anymore, and I'll go get a job. That's an option. The other option is to say, I'm going to double down and I'm going to get focused on what I'm doing and I'm going to figure out what I don't know and I'm going to take action and I'm going to work my way through it. And you are often stuck at that fork in the road and you say, I don't know which option to take. How do you make this decision? And when is the right time to make this decision? And should I even have to make this decision? Like if I was making all sorts of money in my business, I wouldn't have to even do this, but I may not be making that money in my business. And so that just makes that conversation even more challenging. Okay. I know it. So how do you decide? So one of the things I'm going to use this analogy. I think many of you know that my husband and I love to RV. And so when you're pulling a big RV, you got a truck, you're pulling an RV, you have a choice to make in terms of which route you're going to go. One route you're going to go, and it's going to be interstate and highway, whatever you call it in your country. They have different words. But it is smooth. It is wide lanes. You've got all of the gas stations, truck stops, help, right? Those are all the pros of going down the interstate. There are also cons of going down the interstate. The cons are, it's boring. It's so boring. You don't get to see the world. And isn't that why you decided to get an RV in the first place? Right? That's a con. Okay. So now let's tackle the other option, fork in the road as you're pulling your RV. The other option is to go down country roads. Okay. What are the pros of that? Oh, you get to see the country. It's beautiful. It's scenic. It's entertaining. You get to see things you would never see, like the world's giant ball of twine. Okay, what are the cons? The cons of that route are, what if there's no gas station? What if I got out in the middle of nowhere and I have a flat tire and I'm pulling an RV? That gets scary, okay? So oftentimes we look at the pros and cons of the two choices that we face and we say, well, the one with the most pros wins, right? One of the things that I learned, and this absolutely dates back to corporate days, is that that's not how you pick. You pick based on which option you are better able to mitigate the cons. Just gives you some perspective. Okay, so let's talk about that in the RV world. Okay, so the con on the interstate is that it is boring. How do I fix that? How do I mitigate that path? I can't make it less boring. The only thing I might be able to do is not look at the scenery and read a book. Well, I'm gonna get seasick or road sick, car sick. Why was car sick so hard for me to think of in that moment? Okay, that's kind of a crappy answer, right? But okay, so now let's flip to the other side. The other side, the scenic route, the cons were, what if I can't find gas stations? What if I need help? Well, there are apps for that. There are apps that help me route it. There are apps that show me where those things are. I can have a roadside service that can help me if I have a breakdown. Like I can mitigate all of those cons. And when I look at it from that perspective, I can go, well, so that's a better option because I can do something about the things that are not negatives, but cons on my choice. So let's now apply that to this whole space of entrepreneurship is hard and maybe I should just go get a job. Okay, you got two choices. Okay, so on choice number one, I can go get a job. What are the pros and cons of going and getting a job? Some of the things you all said in comments, right? I don't have to do any marketing. I don't have to do any sales. I get a steady paycheck, steady insurance. Okay, those are the pros. What are the cons of going to get a job? I got to go work for somebody else. There was a whole reason I left in the first place. I'm not dealing with my content. I'm selling my soul to just earn a paycheck. Okay, so can you mitigate any of those cons? No, I can't do anything about those cons. That was the whole reason I left in the first place, is that I didn't want to do that anymore. So now I'm talking about going back down that path. Ooh, wait a minute. Okay, so now let's take this path. This path is entrepreneurship is hard. It is the road less traveled. It is a rocky road. I'm going to have ups and downs and woo. But what are the pros? The pros are I work for myself. I can do what I want, right? There's this feeling that comes from the satisfaction that I get deep in my soul when I help somebody. That's why I did this in the first place, right? So if you can just look at the pros, right? What's your decision point? But now let's look at the cons. So let's talk about the cons for entrepreneurship. Okay. Let's take some of the things that we've talked about. Con, I'm all alone. Are you? Are you alone? You know, maybe you're alone in your office. Maybe you're alone in your home or wherever you are. But you know what? There are amazing, amazing communities out there. And if you really embrace those communities and take advantage of all of those things that are out there to offer you, you will realize you're not alone. We have each other. There are coaches and programs and masterminds and all of those things out there to help you learn all of the things you don't know how to do. Marketing is hard. Let's learn it. Facebook groups hard. What else? Sales is hard. Those are things that you can learn. Those are skills that you can develop. Okay. So now we're kind of overcoming some of those cons. What else is the con? No paycheck. No paycheck. Let's talk about that. You know, there's not much you can do with the whole feast or famine. Right? Sometimes you're making money, then the next week you're not making money. Right? That's right. Am I right? No. You do control that. I will tell you, we just did a workshop on Facebook groups, and many of you, some of you were on with me, some of you were not. I went way long. I had way more content than I had time for, but everybody left having learned something and getting some value out of that. One of the things that we talked about in there was that you have to be talking about your products and services. You have to extend offers. But that feels icky. Yeah, it feels icky because you're making a big deal of it and you're going, I don't want to sell. I don't want to, you have all this icky energy around it. I will tell you this. I shared this with the workshop. You're getting a sneak peek at it. The more you talk about your stuff, what it's like to work with you, what the ways in which to work with you, it's going to get easier. It's going to be easier for you, and it's going to be easier for your people because they're used to you hearing about it. You talk about it all the time. The more you talk about your stuff, the more you extend offers. You don't have to pitch. You don't have to sell. Here's what you have to do. You have to build an audience, a group of people that are just loving what you're all about. They're picking up what you're putting down. They absorb everything that you want to talk about, or they're at least selective in pulling in the parts and pieces that they want. And when you do that right, and when you build this community of awesome people that are connected and helping one another and asking questions and engaging in your content, you don't have to pitch. All you have to do is say, hey, I have this thing. If you are interested in this thing, here's the details. Would love to have you come on. And then you just continue on your day. If you make selling and marketing not a big, ugly, scary thing, it won't be a big, ugly, scary thing. There's a book out there called Eat That Frog. And if you haven't read it, it's one of those quick little short parable books. It's actually really good. But I'll give you I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version. Okay. Eat That Frog basically says that when you have a task, let's say you've got 5 tasks to do. If one of them is icky, ugly, like I got to eat this frog. I got to eat this frog. And you keep looking at that task and you go, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to eat that frog. I'm not going to eat that frog. I'm going to keep pushing it off, and I'm going to keep pushing it off, and I'm going to keep pushing it off. But it's still there. Your whole day, your whole week is now this obsession over eating this frog. And it now consumes everything. And the energy around eating that frog becomes, ugh. And listen, I'm a vegetarian, so it's double for me. Okay. Okay. The book says that task, that thing, do it first. Get it out of the way. Get past that negative energy so that it doesn't become this obsession that is just consuming you all day, every day. So if you're in your business as an entrepreneur and there are tasks like this, I don't like marketing, I don't like sales, I don't like tech, and you're making it this big ugly frog that you got to eat, that's why you're frustrated. Because your energy is off. Your energy is all around these things. Listen. Let's talk about tech, because I am currently practicing this around tech. Because Sarah, I completely agree with you on the tech. It is so hard for me, right? But because I'm making it this big ugly thing, and I talk about it in that way, and I'm constantly saying tech, 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 right? It's almost as if I'm asking for more problems, right? And so what I need to do is embrace this and be like, hello, laptop. I love you. You're so wonderful today. And stop making it a bigger deal than it is. Or, or I can mitigate those risks and go, okay, tech is not my thing. I have a choice to make. Okay. I can delegate that to somebody else. I can outsource it. Both of those may cost money, probably do cost money. Or I can say, I'm gonna take care of this. I'm gonna embrace this. I'm gonna lean into it. I'm gonna learn everything I can. You choose your mindset around those icky things. Okay. And listen, I get it. I still have trouble, and I have to remind myself not to talk negatively about tech, because it is as if you have an order taker in the universe that is saying, "Oh, she's all fired up about this tech. Okay, she likes solving these problems. She's spending all her time solving all these tech problems. I'm gonna give her more." Instead of just saying, "You know what? It is what it is, people," and you kind of embrace it and lean into it. If you're not good at marketing, become an expert. Get help. Doesn't have to be paid help, get free help. Okay? So again, back to the fork in the road. You've got choices. Remember why you decided to do what you do. Look at it from a problem-solving mechanism and say, I'm putting together my pros and cons, and which are the cons that I can mitigate, and help make your decision there. Okay. If you're, let's just talk about money, because we talked about paycheck, right? And so here you are saying, I'm not making any money. Nobody's buying anything. Nobody has any money. Well, that's not true. People have money. You're making an assumption. You might even be selling out of your own pocket. But you're creating this limiting belief, not about yourself, but about the people around you. And sometimes you need to check that and be like, is that true? No, not true. People have money. If people want your programs, if people want to work with you, they're going to figure it out. And maybe it's not no, maybe it's just no, not right now. That doesn't mean that they don't find the money later at some other point. Okay. So I don't know that I'm necessarily giving you answers about this. We were talking about why don't I just go get a job? Okay. And sometimes that's the answer, right? One of my very good friends, I definitely consider her a business bestie. She's in a very different industry than I am. And she was faced with this. She's like, I'm not making enough money. I need to make money. And so she went and got a part-time job. It's a stopgap. Is she giving up on her dream? No. But she's got to pay the bills. But she is continuing to push through and figure out how to make her dream happen. And sometimes that's what you got to do, is those trade-offs, right? If your dream is big enough, if you truly believe in your dream, then you make it happen. Okay? If you really want to go deep, you have to realize that in an alternate universe, it already has happened. Believe that. Believe that it has already happened. And now it's just about, what are the steps I need to take to get there, because I know it can be. And then you figure it out. One of my very dear friends, Jana Nixa, I talk about her every once in a while. She talks about how you have to balance the woo and the do. Okay? It is not just surrendering to the universe and just believing it's going to happen and then go, come on, bring it. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. And sometimes we need help. And it's okay to ask for help. I know this is one of my biggest challenges. It is very hard for me to ask for help. Very hard. But I'm recognizing that for me to take my business to the next level, that I need help. And I need help in very specific areas. And I'm not swayed by all of the craziness, all of the overwhelm. We talked about this last week. I every time these new inputs come in, we'll go to overwhelm for just a second and I'll come back to this. Right? It never fails. Somebody will send me a message and they'll be like, oh my gosh, so-and-so is doing a free 3-day challenge. You need to go do it. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, that's so good. I stop and I check myself and I say, is that challenge going to help me in my decision point? Is it going to help me overcome the cons that are getting in my way? No, it's not. It's something else. That's not what I'm focused on right now. I'm focused on this right now. Then you have to say, ooh, that sounds really good, but not right now because I'm focused on this. I have my map. I have my route. I know where I'm going. And you've got to stay super focused on that and resist the temptation to go all over the place. That's what I have found in my own business is what hurts me more than anything else is switching gears, moving between different things, putting my own distractions in place, chasing down shiny objects. And as soon as I said, okay, this is my route, this is my plan, this is what I'm going to do, these are the actions I'm going to take to get there. And I almost put blinders on. And I say, this is it. I'm focused here. And everything else, if it's meant to be, it'll just come back around. But not today. I'm focused here. Do something every day that moves you further down that path. Okay, so if you're putting together your to-do list and you got all these actions, you got all these ideas, look at those and say, do these things help me move down this path? And if they don't help me move down this path, then they go somewhere else. They go on a next month, next week, next year, however else it is. You're not forgetting them. Okay. Our brains tend to do this thing where they think, oh, you got to do this. 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 Thank you, brain. I appreciate that. I've got it jotted down. It's appropriately filed, but not right now because I'm doing this. You are in control of your brain. You are in control of the activities that you spend time on. And are you spending it on the right things? Okay, so we've been going for about 20 minutes. I'm going to check comments here in a bit. This is what we're talking about, right? Entrepreneurship is hard. Sometimes is it just easier to go get a job? It may be easier to go get a job, but is it the right answer? Right? If you go get a job, you're going to be right back into that space where you have limited income, right? You might get an annual raise of 2%, but that's it. It's locked in. Whereas if you're an entrepreneur and you have your business and you get it humping and it is just, and the money is flying in, oh my gosh, huge upstream, right? Those are the things to focus on when you are in this space where you are feeling this way. And you are doubting yourself. And it's the brain's job to come in and say, let's be safe. Let's be safe. The safe and smart route is to just go get a job, have a paycheck, be safe. That's your brain's job. But you don't have to listen to your brain. Listen to your soul. Listen to your heart. Listen to your feelings. They got equal weight in here. Okay, I hope this has been at least a helpful discussion and at least given you some things to consider and to think about. That was my intention. Can I give you the answer here? No, I cannot. But what I can say is that the things that are limiting you, that are holding you back, like tech, marketing, I'm looking at the text chat, the things that we talked about at the beginning here, those are things that you can overcome. So focus on those, get them handled, get them out of the way, eat that frog first, and spend your time on the activities that actually move you forward. Okay, let me look at chat here for a second. Okay. Oh, Sarah says, I always choose the alternate route. Me too. I like those backcountry roads far more than anything else. A couple of you have read the book. Yes, yes, yes. You are so right. This is so true. Try harder. Try harder. Yes. And try smarter. actually look and say, where are the gaps in my business? And where do I need help? Ask yourself this question. Am I regularly extending offers to my audience? Start there. Doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to have a landing page set up. You don't need to have a website. You don't even have any. Just start talking about the ways in which people can work with you and how you can help them. Because the more that you talk about that, the more that people will take advantage. They cannot read your mind. So yes, try harder, but work smarter. That's the key. Laura says, trying to streamline everything. Yes, sometimes we create our own distractions, right? Yes. Sometimes I get contract jobs and they end up being way more work and I'm not happy. Yes, all of this comes into play. You're so right. Juggling too much and not focusing enough on one thing. Yes. Yes. There's a coach I follow. What is her name? I always forget this. All I can see is rainbows because her brand is all rainbows. What is her name? Sally. But she really had an impact on me, but I just can't remember her name. One of the things that she talked about, or that she taught me, is the power of one. And one of the things she said is that she actually had the data and the research. When we jump from one thing to the next thing, the amount of productivity we lose is staggering. And she had this data where she talked about, okay, if you're toggling between 2 things versus 3 things versus 4 things versus 5 things versus 6 things, how much time is lost? Oh my gosh. I know I don't have the compelling statistic. I should go and get it, but it was a wake-up call, because that's me. I jump all over the place. I think I probably have ADHD because that adds to this, right? And so what I had to do and recognize, and what she basically says is, focus on one thing. Get better at that one thing, and things will change. Okay. The absolutely amazing Stephanie Thompson, if you're not following her, you need to. She's freaking brilliant. She's over in the UK, so I can say bloody brilliant. She taught me this. I have these Post-it notes now. I got them at Target, by the way. Today's top 3 things. What she taught me is focus on 3 things every day that move your business forward. If you do that, at the end of the week, you have 15 things that move your business forward. At the end of the month, you have 60 things that have moved your business forward. What happens is, and I don't know if you're anything like me, we get out our piece of paper, right? Our to-do list. I got to-do list. Oh, I'm not going to be able to get my hands on it fast enough, I don't think. Hold on. Okay. We get a to-do list. Here's all the things I need to do. And boy, howdy, do I fill that up. How many are on this page? 20 things I need to do today. And how many of those do you get done? 2? And then you beat yourself up because you only got 2 things done. If I only focus on 3 things and I actually work to make these 3 things happen, because these are the 3 most important things. These are the things that are going to move me forward fastest. And I make this decision each and every day. Yeah, I look at my long list and I say, okay, of this long list, what are 3 most important things I need to do? And I focus on getting these 3 things done. And I don't focus on this. I get these 3 things done. And then if I get these 3 things done, I go, look at me. I got more time. Let me do one more. It's a huge mindset shift. So call out to Stephanie and Sally, whatever her name is. Distractions hurt you more than they help you. So whatever is distracting you in your business, whatever you got FOMO on, start with controlling some of that. Okay, let's see what else we got. Our brain is trying to keep us safe. False security. Yes. You got it. Love this. False security. Yes. Yeah, you could go get a job and you could get laid off, right? When you are in control, you are in control. If you need more sales, you can come up with an offer, put it out there, sell some money, get some things up. My husband came in the other day. I'll share this and then we'll wrap up. My husband came in the other day. He was all super stressed. And I think some of you know he's going through some things. He hasn't been able to work in several months. He's got what's called nervous system dysregulation. Basically means he's stuck in fight or flight 24/7. And we're working through it, and it is getting better. And he's made amazing progress in the last 8 weeks. But we probably got 3-4 months left before he's going to be able to go back to work. And money is one of his stressors, and he gets super stressed out about it. And he was super stressed the other day. I mean, to the point of just like, and I said, what's going on? And he's like, I just spent $50 buying all this stuff for Otis. Otis is our dog. And I'm like, okay, but honey, it was dog food. He needs to eat. We can't not get him dog food. But he was just, I know, but it was $50. It's $50, and I'm not working. I'm not making any money. And I said, stop. How about I just sell one more workshop? A workshop, I charged $47 for the workshop. If I just sell one more workshop than what I've charged, then that pays for Otis's food. You're exactly right here. You are in control. If you need more money to pay for things, you just sell more things. Yes, this is the right mindset, right? We often focus on, and all of the money experts will tell you this, we focus on how am I going to cut? How am I going to pull back? And then you get in this space of lack instead of saying, none of this will matter if I'm making more money. I won't be worrying about whether or not I can afford Otis's dog food if I'm just making more money. It becomes a non-issue. So what am I doing every day, all day long to focus on that? It doesn't mean I have to be focused on sales or marketing. I'm just focused on how do I serve people? Because if I can help people and they're willing to pay me to help them, I'm making money. And I know I'm oversimplifying this. But you guys are getting this. Yes, absolutely. Yes. You just have to figure out your system. What is your system? When you need more money, what are you going to do? What are the things that you can do? Okay. So for example, how am I going to sell more workshops to pay for Otis's food? Well, the workshop was this morning. That means it's over. I can't really sell anymore, right? Wrong. I could sell more of those workshops. I could repeat the workshop. I could sell the recording. I got other options. Don't give up on yourself. Stop and think and figure out how you get those wheels turning and moving you forward. Okay. This was not at all where I thought this was going to go. I love that I just kind of go wherever we go and you guys ask questions and we navigate our way through this. Okay. But we are at 32 minutes and I always try to wrap these up in 30. I hope this was helpful today. Okay. What I will say is this, for those of you that are watching, if you're struggling with this, and you know, can I necessarily help you make a decision about whether or not to do one thing or the other? No, the only person that can make that decision is you. But if I can ask you questions and if I can give you some things to think about, I'm happy to do that. Okay. You know, I think most of you know me. I love Facebook Messenger. Okay. Ask me questions, message me. I'm here to serve and help you. Yes, you're in this group. I know we're streaming in other places as well, but many of you are in my group, and it is about getting on camera to get more clients. But here's what I'm going to say. It's not just about getting on camera to get clients. That's just one way. It's about how do I get more clients? How do I sell more? How do I get a business that's moving forward and helping me? If I can help you in that space with a quick message or a quick chat, you let me know. Okay. That's what I'm here for. Okay. Hi, Patty. Oh, I love Patty. I know I cannot make your decisions for you. No, I can't. I can't make your decisions for you. Only you can make those decisions. All I can do is ask you some really good questions like you, my friend, have done for me so many times to help me make my own decisions. All right. That fork in the road that we talked about, it's your choice. Your choice. Keep in mind why you did it in the first place. And of the cons, think of them as obstacles, right? If you decide you want to go down this route and you say, I want to stay an entrepreneur, I want to have my own business, I want to have all of these things, but there are rocks in your way, then systematically get rid of the rocks. If you need help getting rid of the rocks, ask for help. Ask for help. Okay, one last thing, and then I promise we will wrap up. Famous last words. I want to talk a little bit about investment here. And I recognize that sometimes coaches and programs cost money. And there's that whole cliche out there, you got to spend money to make money. Okay. Whether that's true or not true, the problem is you can get caught up in just spending and buying and hopping from one program to the next, and none of them actually help you do anything. And here you're just spending money and you keep running up credit and you're putting it on a credit card, and none of it is helping you. You don't want to make the assumption that nobody's program or that nobody's coaching can ever help you ever again. I've been there. I was there, right? I bought program after program and I went, I'm not buying any more programs because they don't work. That's not true. I got to pick the right programs and the right coaches and the people that actually can help me. It's a decision point. Okay. And I will tell you that I have been much more strategic in making my decisions around where I invest. And when you do it right, it pays off. I think about the things that I have spent money on just in the last 6 months. And I have not only made that money back to pay off those investments, I've made more money. And yes, that is risk. And I get that it's risk because you don't know, there's no guarantees, right? There's no guarantees. But if you're willing to put in the time and the energy and do the things that people will give you good advice and you got, it can pay off. It can be huge, but you got to make those right decisions. So I don't want to, again, over communicate and overshare decision points on whether to invest or not invest. But what I would say is this: don't just whip out your card. Stop and think, is this going to help me? What is my return on investment? What am I going to have to sell to pay that off? And am I learning enough to be able to achieve that? Okay, again, I can't make decisions for you, but I can ask you questions and I can give you tips that help you make better decisions. That's what this is all about today. Okay. Whoa, did we go long? Woo! We went long last week too. I'll make it up to you. The next few, I promise I will rein it in. I'm on a soapbox over this stuff, you guys. All right, everybody, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Thursday. It is nearly Friday. Woo, woo. Almost the weekend. And for those of you in the US, it's a long weekend because it's Labor Day weekend. So enjoy. Take time to enjoy. That's probably I could probably just put a period on the end of that sentence. Find joy in everything. Find the joy in your business each and every day. Don't just focus on the things that aren't going well. Practice gratitude. Find the things that are working, that you are happy about, and celebrate those. Spend more time there. All right, everybody. See ya.